All right, so for today's class, I'm going to have that, again, you start out with your attendance form and your contact tracing or seating chart if you're in person. Then we're going to do this ed puzzle that you're currently on body systems interactions number 1. And then we're going to do your interactive notebook section 2. And you're going to finish out with an exit ticket before you go for the weekend. Make sure that all of your work is turned in for this grading period. So if you have any zeros, complete those. And if you want to do extra credit after you've made up all your work, then you can go ahead as long as everything is turned in before midnight on Friday. So we're going to start out with our do now. What are 3 organ systems you use every day? Describe what each of them do for you, or their main purpose. All right, our learning objective is that learners will be able to begin to explain organ systems interactions by completing an ed puzzle and working on section 2 of their interactive notebooks. So first things first, we're going to talk about what homeostasis is. So homeostasis is the ability to maintain constant internal conditions in order to stay alive, regardless of external changes. So one example is body temperature, right? We maintain a body temperature between about 97 and 99 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of the outside environment, right? Even if you go outside and stand in the cold, if you go and take your temperature afterwards with a thermometer, either under your tongue or in your armpit, your body temperature is still going to be the same as long as you're not experiencing hypothermia. Now, our body temperature obviously changes when you have things like a fever, but that's because we're raising our body temperature in order to be to a point where we can withstand it, but bacteria cannot, or viruses cannot. Okay, another one is gas exchange. You don't want too much carbon dioxide buildup in your body, right? So you breathe it out and your lungs help you take it out, as well as your veins. They bring it back to your heart to bring to your lungs to breathe it out. And you breathe oxygen in so that you have enough to power the cellular respiration in your body to give you energy. Okay. Another example of homeostasis is growth and development, okay? So you need to, as you grow, you have to maintain certain strength and dexterity in your bones. You have to maintain certain like vascularity, so you need all your veins to develop and not just your body to develop in size, because if you don't have like veins and arteries going to reach to the length that you're growing to, then you're not going to be able to get nutrients to the extremities of your body or the far ends of your body, right? So homeostasis is super important, and without it, most organisms cannot stay alive. Okay, so we're going to talk about the interactions of body systems that help you maintain homeostasis. So like I said before, the respiratory system plays a big role, okay? So the respiratory system, right, is your lungs, your trachea, and your mouth, and it works closely with your circulatory system, okay? So you take in oxygen for delivery to the cells, and it helps you remove carbon dioxide brought from the cells. So you're bringing in fresh oxygen and you're breathing out the waste of carbon dioxide. The respiratory system also works with the excretory system. So it removes excretory waste. It's helping you get rid of waste like carbon dioxide so that it doesn't linger in your body and cause damages. Okay. The respiratory system also interacts with the nervous system, which controls your breathing. So if you didn't have a control of your breathing, it could stop and then you wouldn't be able to survive. So your brain, whether or not you're thinking about it, there's a part in the back of your head that is always controlling you to breathe in and out regularly, whether or not you're actively thinking about it. And then there is an interaction with the muscular system, because without a diaphragm down here, you would not be able to breathe in or breathe out. So your respiratory system always interacts with the muscular system in order to control your lungs expanding and deflating, okay? So at the end of this, tell me one interaction with the system that the respiratory system interacts with and what its purpose is. Okay, so the next system in homeostasis is the circulatory system. And we know this plays a big role because it's what carries our blood around our entire body. So the circulatory system interacts with the respiratory system to deliver oxygen from the lungs to cells and drop off carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs, right? You can't get the oxygen to the rest of your body from your lungs unless you have your circulatory system. And you can't get the carbon dioxide from your body to your lungs unless you have your circulatory system. It's like that subway system I talked about. The circulatory system also works with your digestive system so that once you've broken down all your nutrients, your circulatory system helps deliver it to the rest of your body. Otherwise, it would just sit there in your stomach. Okay. Excretory system interacts with the circulatory system because your blood has to flow around in order to get to the kidneys to filter out the waste and so that you can pee it out. The lymphatic system interacts with the circulatory system because they both transport things to and from cells, right? They're just transporting red blood cells versus white blood cells. The immune system interacts with the circulatory system because the circulatory system also helps transport white blood cells throughout the body when you're fighting diseases. It's not just the lymphatic system. Your nervous system interacts with your circulatory system because your brain controls your heartbeat. It's not one of those things that you ever have to actively think about, right? It's not like your breathing, where if you don't think about it, you breathe without thinking. But once you think about it, you start thinking about breathing and controlling it. Your heartbeat, on the other hand, is not something that you control actively ever, right? Some people can meditate and cause their heartbeat to slow down or increase, but naturally, our heart always beats at a certain rate, and it just depends on our physical exertion. Okay, and lastly, your circulatory system interacts with your endocrine system because it transports your hormones around your body in your bloodstream so that it can get to where it needs to go to interact with the cells and areas of your body that your hormones need to interact with. Okay, so recall and tell me one interaction that the circulatory system has with another system and what it's doing. The reproductive system is another one important for homeostasis because it works with the endocrine system to produce and regulate hormones during puberty that cause you to grow and develop adult sexual characteristics. Okay. The reproductive system also works with the endocrine system because it produces the right hormones to change the body during pregnancy to develop a baby properly, right? Female bodies change a lot during pregnancy. If they stayed the same and hormones didn't do their changes, then the baby wouldn't develop properly because there wouldn't even be enough room for them. Okay. And then the reproductive system interacts with the muscular system because the uterus, when giving birth, has to contract really, really strongly in order to push the baby out and into the world. Another purpose for interactions would be relating to nutrients and waste. So nutrient intake is super important because without nutrients, all organisms would die, right? Plants, for example, can create their own after they've pulled up some different building blocks from the environment, but animals have to consume nutrients, okay? Waste buildup and elimination is really bad. So organisms are constantly eliminating waste from their cells and bodies, right? Some kinds are breathing out carbon dioxide, some are like pooping, some are like peeing, right? All organisms that are alive are getting rid of waste that they produce after they ingest things. So the digestive system plays a huge role here. We know that. The digestive system interacts with the circulatory system to absorb and deliver the digested nutrients to the cells, right? You break it down, then you got to move it where it goes. You can't just sit where you broke it down. Okay. The digestive system works with the muscular system because it controls all of the contractions of many of the digestive organs to pass food along. If we didn't have muscles and you got food into your mouth, you wouldn't be able to swallow it to get it down to your stomach because that takes muscles. Your stomach wouldn't be able to mash it up to digest it and break it down with stomach acid because that takes muscles. Then you wouldn't be able to push it down into your intestines because that takes muscles. So all of these things in the digestive system take up muscles. Okay. The digestive system works with the nervous system because the hypothalamus part of your brain maintains homeostasis by saying, hey, you have low blood sugar. You need to add more food to your stomach so that you can increase your blood sugar so you have energy. Or you're missing these nutrients, so you're gonna be hungry and crave certain kinds of food. And that is all triggered by your brain, right? It can cause your stomach even to growl when it's saying, hey, your stomach's empty, it's ready for new food. The excretory system is the last one we're gonna go over today. Oh, sorry, forgot to ask you. So please list out one major interaction that the digestive system has with another organ system and tell me what are they doing together. The last system that we're going to go over and its major interactions today obviously this one is waste elimination, right? Is the excretory system. So interactions with other systems. The excretory system interacts closely with the circulatory or cardiovascular system because it's filtering waste out of the blood. So all blood will at some point pass through your right or your left kidney. And these act as coffee filters, catching the waste or the bad things or the toxins inside of your blood, catches them and then dilutes them into water, and it gets stored into your bladder, and then you pee it out to remove the waste from your body. Okay. The excretory system also works with the lungs because your lungs also remove excretory waste like carbon dioxide. Okay. Lastly, the excretory system works with the integumentary system, which is your skin system, and it removes excretory waste like your skin can remove waste by sweating it out, right? Certain chemicals you can sweat out faster than you can wait to pee out. So your skin is also really good at removing waste from your body, okay? So out of these three, pick one to tell me about again. What is one major interaction that the excretory system has with another system, and what are they doing together? All right, that's all for today. We are going to go over the rest of the interactions next week, so be prepared for that. Finish up your interactive journal and turn it in. Again, all work is due by midnight on Friday for this grading period. Nothing will be accepted afterwards for grading, so make sure all of your stuff is turned in so you can get the highest grade possible. And if you need to, do your extra credit so that you can earn your points.